is Vance in Pakistan for negotiations.
The top story on Gold FM.
The war has been won, and any reports to the contrary are just fake news. That's according to US President Donald Trump. Speaking to the media, the US President said that Iran has no one left to turn to.
That nobody, everything we're doing, we're making great. The border is great. The military is great. We're having, by the way, a tremendous success, as you know, in Iran. We had one in Venezuela, and now we're having one in Iran. They have no Navy left. They have no Air Force left. They have no anti-aircraft equipment left, no radar left, no leaders left. The leaders are all gone. Nobody knows who to talk to. But we're actually talking to the right people, and they want to make a deal so badly. You have no idea how badly they want.
Speaking on negotiations, this is what he had to say.
We're in negotiations, as it turned out, and now you've seen what I said yesterday was exactly correct. We're in negotiations right now. They're doing it along with Marco, JD. We have a number of people doing it, and the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there? Look, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their communications are gone. That's the biggest problem. It's very hard to communicate them between themselves. All of the anti-aircraft is gone. Most of their missiles are gone. We either shot them or they shot them and don't have them anymore. They're down to a trickle. Pretty much everything they have is gone. I don't know. Can you name one thing that's not gone, or can you name one thing that's doing well? You know, if you read the papers, you think we're tied. You think we're in a tough battle. We are roaming free over Tehran, the city, Tehran, as opposed to Iran. We're roaming free. We can do whatever we want. And as you know, today we were going to have the privilege of shooting down a very big electric generation plant, one of the biggest in the world, and one shot to the...
Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif says his country is ready to facilitate meaningful and conclusive negotiations to end the war in the Middle East. The proposal follows intensifying efforts to establish Islamabad as the venue for high-stakes talks between the United States and Iran. Sources in Pakistan suggested to foreign media that US Vice President J.D. Vance is being put forward as the lead negotiator for the American side. However, significant hurdles remain regarding the delegation from Tehran. Iranian sources indicated a refusal to engage with President Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff and his son-in-law Jared Kushner, both of whom have previous roles in regional diplomacy. They called them backstabbers. The push for a summit in Islamabad is being heavily supported by Pakistan's military leadership. The White House confirmed that the Pakistan Army Chief General Asim Munir held a telephone conversation with US President Donald Trump to discuss the conflict. This was followed by a phone call between Prime Minister Sharif and the Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, where both leaders reportedly agreed on the urgent need for de-escalation. While other nations, including Qatar, Turkey and Egypt, were suggested as potential hosts, it is understood that Tehran may prefer Islamabad as neutral ground. Despite the diplomatic flurry, there are conflicting signals regarding Iran's willingness to come to the table. Reports suggest that the Iranian parliamentary speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf is the most likely candidate to lead their delegation. Yet Ghalibaf has so far dismissed any talks of an imminent meeting as fake news. Writing on social media on Tuesday, Prime Minister Sharif insisted that Pakistan remains ready and honoured to host the summit, provided both Washington and Tehran gave their formal concurrence.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
President Anura Kumara Dissanayake and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a telephone conversation to discuss regional security and the impact of the Middle Eastern tensions on global energy supplies. Prime Minister Narendra Modi confirmed via social media that the two leaders reviewed the progress of energy cooperation projects between India and Sri Lanka. Both nations reaffirmed their commitment to navigating shared challenges as trusted partners. The Monetary Policy Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka held a meeting yesterday deciding to maintain the overnight policy rate at the current level of 7.75%. The board arrived at this decision after considering evolving developments and the outlook on the domestic and global fronts, with particular attention to uncertainties arising from the ongoing Middle East conflict. The sharp increase in global energy prices and trade disruptions amid heightened uncertainty due to the escalation of geopolitical tensions necessitated a significant upward adjustment in domestic energy prices. The current low level of inflation at 1.6% year-on-year in February 2026, relative to the target of 5%, provides sufficient space to accommodate the impact of higher energy prices and their spillover on inflation. Given the latest available data and prevailing uncertainties, inflation is now expected to reach the target of 5% in the second quarter of this year, which is earlier than previously anticipated. Inflation is projected to remain around the target thereafter. That's all according to the central bank. The Department of Meteorology issued a heat index advisory for the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern and northwestern provinces, as well as the Anuradhapura, Mannar and Vania districts. Forecasters expect temperatures felt on the human body to reach caution level in these areas.
Now for some news in brief.
The Colombo High Court ordered the bribery case against the Member of Parliament Chamarasampa Dasanayake to be called on the 30th of April, with the Siabok alleging that Dasanayake committed corruption while serving as the Chief Minister of Uva Province in 2016.
The business news on Gold FM.
The all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange gained 706.26 points to close at 21,071.23 yesterday. The S&P SL 20 index gained 222.41 points to close at 5,909.23. Total market turnover was 4.2 billion rupees. Brent crude futures tumbled 6.18% to $98.03 a barrel, while WTI crude fell 5.27% to $87.48 a barrel today. Brent crude dropped $6.46 from the $104.49 earlier, while WTI saw a decrease of $4.34 from the $91.82 recorded yesterday.
International news on Gold FM.
The International Atomic Energy Agency confirmed a second projectile strike on the premises of the Bushehr nuclear power plant. Iranian officials reported no damage to the facilities or injuries to the staff during the incident. IAEA Chief Rafael Grossi called for maximum restraint to avoid nuclear safety risks during the ongoing conflict. US President Donald Trump had an ulterior motive when he declared a 5-day suspension of attacks on Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure. That is the sentiment among many following Trump's announcement, which came around 12 hours left for his ultimatum, which was to attack Iranian energy infrastructure if Tehran doesn't completely clear the Strait of Hormuz. He also claimed that there were talks with Iran about the total resolution of US hostilities in the Middle East. Commentators yesterday went through his comments with a fine-toothed comb. Professor Sayed Marandi, an American-Iranian academic at the University of Tehran, gave these thoughts on the motive behind Trump hitting the pause button.
There haven't been any negotiations. Iran doesn't trust Witkoff or Kushner because they lied about the negotiations that took place. They made comments and attributed those comments to the Iranian foreign minister, and the mediator, the Omani foreign minister, he is never in his descriptions about the negotiations. He said nothing of the sort. He did not acknowledge anything that Witkoff had claimed. So either Witkoff is just lying was lying to the people, the public, or perhaps there are those in Iran who believe that Witkoff and Kushner lied to the president. I have no way of knowing, but for example, Witkoff spoke about Iran wanting to have nuclear weapons, the foreign minister saying that sort of thing. That's not what the Omani mediator said. Unfortunately, he was there and he was the person passing the messages back and forth. And he went on television in the United States saying that there was progress at the negotiating table, and then the United States carried out that attack. We can find out really what Trump's intentions were through the timing. It was right before the markets were to open, and he declared a 5-day delay, and we shouldn't be surprised that after 5 days, the markets closed. So I think what he wanted to do was to bring down the price of oil and energy.
Speaking on Trump's claims of talks with Iran, this is what he had to say.
I don't understand at all what he's trying to say because he doesn't make any sense. We have a leader, it's Ayatollah Sayyid Mujtaba Khamenei. He's the person in charge, and we have an administration, and we have senior leaders. The leadership in Iran is just as the third layer, first layer, second layer, third layer, they're all gone. And then he says Iran is also obliterated. Well, if Iran is obliterated, then why can't you just open the Strait of Hormuz? Everything that he says is just nonsense. And there are no negotiations. And the Iranians have said there are no negotiations. The foreign ministry has said so, that is the administration. And the Speaker of Parliament, which the Americans are trying to imply that it's him, he has said that there are no negotiations. And Trump's track record of dishonesty, I think, is more than enough to indicate that what he's saying is nonsense. And the timing is clear. After the 48 hours would end, I'm sure he's worried about the Iranian response if he starts targeting Iranian vital infrastructure and power plants, which would be a crime against humanity in itself, and Iran said it will respond by devastating the power plants on the other side of the Persian Gulf because all those regimes are complicit in the war. They're allowing the Americans to use their airspace, their territory to kill Iranians.
In the meantime, Iran said foreign ships are allowed to cross the Strait of Hormuz as long as they aren't supporting acts of aggression against the country and following regulations put in place by Tehran. The nation made the comments in a letter circulated to members of the International Maritime Organization. It added that countries could benefit from safe passage in coordination with the competent Iranian authorities. Iran started charging transit fees on some commercial vessels passing the Strait of Hormuz. That's according to foreign media citing people familiar with the matter.
Entertainment news on Gold FM.
Veteran actor Marsha Ann Bowes died at the age of 85. Known for her prolific career in television, Bowes appeared as Mrs. Claus in 2 Hallmark Christmas films and portrayed a former high school girlfriend of Frank Reynolds in the comedy series It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Sports news on Gold FM.
Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah confirmed his departure from the club at the end of the current season. The 33-year-old Egypt national, who joined from Roma in June 2017, broke the news via a video message on his social media accounts. Salah ends a prolific career at Anfield, where he secured multiple major trophies and a record-breaking goal tally. Indian Premier League side Rajasthan Royals is sold to a consortium led by Carl Somani for $1.63 billion. The group includes Walmart's Rob Walton. The deal was signed and sources expect the transaction to close following the 2026 IPL season. The takeover will conclude after the current tournament finishes. Somani, a US-based entrepreneur and existing minority stakeholder, partnered with Walton for the acquisition. That's it for now. This is Zulia De Silva for Gold FM. Thank you and have a lovely day ahead.